Hey, call me Shape. And today I'm reacting to a video titled Michelle Violates Barack in the Worst Way. Let's get right into it.
About what he needs as a grown man in the world. That would be...
You should have threw a boy in the mix.
I would. I'm so glad I didn't have a boy.
Yeah.
Because he would have been a Barack Obama.
It's like baby Barack. It would have been amazing.
Ooh, no, I would have felt for him.
That's a clip that's going viral right now that Michelle Obama said if she would feel bad if she had a Barack. She's glad she never had a son named Barack. And it's a speculation of a lot of arguments, and it just seems like Michelle violates Barack Obama at every turn. Now, this is a pretty deep story. So I don't want to just dive into this very shallow. I want to take a deep dive into it. I found O'Shea Duke Jackson did a great review on this. Let's watch it, and we will react to it.
Imagine you're a very talented black man. You're smart. Some ladies may even consider you good looking, although you'll never be as good looking as me.
Stop the cap.
You earn a lot of money, everything you do turns into gold, and one day you decide that you will run for a state senator, and you win. You win by a landslide. Within 4 years, you'll become the United States president. Not only the first president that's considered black, or black president of the United States. You're now the leader of the free world. But when you get home at night, you're actually getting treated like a little B-snotch.
Got him.
Your wife calls the shots. She tells you what you can do and what you can't do. When you can go to the bathroom, you're still washing dishes. And hey, it is what it is. But you know, when the camera's on, everything is okay. Who would this person be? That would be Barack Obama. Rewind! Barack Obama is a very talented, smart guy. He's had so many accolades in his career, we can't count them all. And being married to a black woman has helped him in all of this. Barack Obama is almost like a deity in the African-American community, at least he was. And much of that was because he was married to Michelle Obama. Now remember, Barack Obama is half Kenyan, half white. And he never dated black women when he was a student in Occidental College or Columbia. It wasn't until he got into law school that he met Michelle Obama. And that has been the first and only black woman that he's ever dated, despite the fact his real attraction is to white women. Wait, stop the show. Actually, his attraction could be to white men.
What?
It was discovered that Barack Obama admitted that he had a homosexual fantasy and, you know, those things he thought about when he was an undergrad. But again, he's never talked about that publicly. It's just been expressed in his own writing. But fast forward! But ever since then, he's been the epitome of a strong black man and a faithful mate to his wife.
Hold on, I never heard about this homosexuality in his own writing. What? Is that in his memoir? Is that in his book? Does anyone else ever heard about that? Now look, I know a lot of people in my audience believes that Michelle's not even a man. I mean, not even a woman. They believe she's a man. I see people keep commenting on this post that I put out about her and Barack and a lot of this drama they're going through. They kept referring to her as Big Mike. I don't know what's going on, right? Do I personally believe Michelle Obama is a man? No. It is possible. I just don't think it's plausible. I don't know if they'll go through this extreme lengths to doctor up a family for Barack. I do believe he has biological children. So, I don't know. I don't fully know. Maybe, I mean, there's stranger things that happen in the world. So, I don't know if she's a man or not. I don't think she is. I mean, she is not that attractive of a woman. I don't think she's ugly. People think she's ugly. I think that she's just like an average or an average looking black woman. I thought she was a lot more attractive when her mouth was shut. The fact that she started opening up her mouth, now she's really embarrassing Barack Obama. But this whole him being gay, like I don't know. That's... People should talk about this. It just goes to show you that no one reads. I never read his book. I had no plans of reading his book. Maybe I should read it just to see where he talked about his homosexual fantasy. Whoa.
A strong black man and a faithful mate to his wife.
For the black male, I just want you to know, like, if I could ever thank Barack Obama for anything, it has nothing to do with him being the first black president. It has nothing to do with him being cool and not necessarily doing anything to embarrass the country as the president. It was just like, hey, bro, thank God you was actually married to a black woman. Because Lord knows if you would have just brought any white woman around, us black dudes would have had to hear about that shit forever. Like, forever.
I mean, Barack Obama and Michelle Obama were the first like big power couple in the black community that got a lot of respect in the late 2000s. This was ever before we saw people like Remy Ma and Papoose or Beyonce and Jay-Z. They are the standard for the black community. But what we've noticed is that Barack Obama, he has a lot of support from black women. Not because he's married to Michelle Obama, it's that because he's historically been very hard on black men, while at the same time never criticizing black women. Throughout his presidency and after, Barack Obama has been trying to whip African American men into shape, for whatever reason that is, and he talks down to black men quite often to get them to shape for him.
These aren't ordinary times, and these are not ordinary elections. You lucky Michelle's not here. She really talking.
Now, in this instance, this is Barack Obama telling, these black men that, hey, you guys are pretty much lucky that Michelle Obama is not here, because if Michelle Obama was here, it'd even be worse, man. So you guys need to get out there and vote for Kamala. And it got worse.
Communities is that we had not yet seen the same kinds of energy and turnout in all quarters of our neighborhoods and communities as we saw when I was running. Now, I also want to say that seems to be more pronounced with the brothers.
In the same situation, he's saying, listen, guys, you are not voting for Kamala Harris like you guys were voting for me when I was running, and I'm concerned about that. Now,
You know what, man? But that, to me, like, this is where Barack really put the pie in his own face, because, bro, how dare you tell us to vote for a woman just because she's black? How dare you? In fact, you didn't even run on the fact that you were black. You told people vote for you because you're the best person for the job. Now you want us to vote for Kamala because she's black? We supported you because we thought you were the best person for the job. We realized you weren't later on. We realized that you were just a black face on white power, right? That you were just a puppet. That you didn't have any true cojones. You were just trying to become famous. I mean, and now watching how your wife is speaking on the internet and interviews, clearly you guys just wanted to be celebrities. Because you started releasing playlists like Barack Obama's favorite hits of the summer. Like, bro, you ain't no DJ. What? Why do we care about what Barack Obama listens to? We know who you listen to. You listen to White Zaddy. We know who you listen to. We know who you listen to. And look, I think it's crazy to think that the first black president who is half white, half black, so he's just as much white as he is black. In fact, he's probably even more white because his mama was white and his daddy was black, but his daddy grew up in Africa and lived in Africa, and he grew up with his white family. Okay? That's the start. That's just to begin with. But the blackest thing about Barack Obama is the fact that he married a black woman. But now I'm starting to feel like maybe that was for show. Maybe you were just chosen because you just looked just right. You were just a right mix of stuff. And then flash forward, Kamala runs. She has no kids. She's not a mother. And she's married to a white man. And you want us to get behind that black woman when a white man's behind her? And like I said, I got no issue with race. Don't matter what race you were born. I'm Christian. I can't be racist, right? Everybody was made by God in my eyes. So you're God's children. So I'm actually going to salute you and celebrate you the way God made you, whether you're white, black, Chinese, whatever you are. But it's so disingenuous for him to attack the brothers. And that's the issue now. That everybody's trying to come down on black men. Ain't nobody trying to fix black women, and black women are the real problem. Fix your wife. How about that? Don't try to fix us. Fix your household. And your daughters is running wild too, from what I can see. Your daughter's running wild, bro. See-through shirts and all that. Partying, cocaine, and all that. Right? Fix your house before you come for us.
Interesting, because the Obamas didn't really authorize or endorse Kamala Harris until much later. They didn't want her to be the presidential candidate at all. They didn't want Joe Biden because of his health, but they really didn't like it, but they had to do something because Trump was too strong. But again, we hear Barack Obama basically taking the side of black women and saying, listen, you brothers got to get out here and vote for Kamala Harris, without even asking black men, well, why is it that the numbers are low? Why are black men not interested in voting Democratic? What is going on with black men? Why do black men feel the way they do? But it didn't matter. All it was is go out there and do what I'm telling you to do because, I'm Barack Obama and we got to support the Democratic Party and we need to get behind Kamala Harris and you guys should be okay with the female leadership. Now, depending on who you are, you may be okay with male leadership or female leadership. Whichever you want to do is, like I said, it's up to you. But leadership should always come with a certain level of respect. If you're going to give your time and submit to a woman or submit to a man and, they have some level of authority over you or they recognize your authority, it should be a level of respect that, basically they should honor whoever you are, husband, wife, employee, manager, or something, because with respect comes appreciation. And Michelle Obama had a particular podcast in which she said something interesting about Barack.
It's about what he needs as a grown man in the world. That would be.
You should have threw a boy in the mix.
I would. I'm so glad I didn't have a boy.
Yeah.
Because he would have been a Barack Obama.
It was like baby Barack. It would have been amazing.
No, I would have felt for him.
Now, in this instance, she's saying that, hey, she's glad that she never had a son by Barack Obama because, it could have been this or that. And she kind of played it off, and you can infer that this is a joke, but then you could not infer it's a joke. Now, be honest, if it was the other way around, let's say if Barack Obama's on the podcast, would he ever joke like that? Could he ever say, I'm so glad I didn't have another daughter by Michelle Obama? Because, woo, that thing would have been crazy. Like he would be canceled, right? And it would show completely that he has no respect for his wife. And when people got into the comment section, they expressed this wholeheartedly. This person, Red Alert, says, it's not obvious Michelle despises Barack. She knows he's as queer as they come. As opposed to, he would have been a Michael Obama? No.
Damn.
Like, these are allegations that Michelle Obama is not a real woman and that she's technically a man, which is false. I don't like that. I think Michelle Obama is, you may not like how she, does things, but Michelle Obama's from our community, right? We should not disrespect her like that. But people have always said that Elon Musk's dad said something similar. This person says, however you may feel about them, this is such an awful thing to say about someone you had kids with. Even his daughters will exhibit his traits, and now they'll be self-conscious of their own behavior whenever they're around their mother now. Another individual says, I'm getting a strong feeling that Michelle Obama doesn't have a very high opinion of Barack Hussein Obama.
He's right,
Eagle Eye says she never had any daughters either. Another reference that Michelle Obama is somehow not a woman. This person goes, no one says this about their husband unless they despise them. I would never say this about having a daughter with my wife. It's classless and a great big neon sign that you don't like your spouse. Now, I just want to say this for...
Okay. Whoa, we're actually about to stop during the kiss. Look. This whole controversy with Michelle Obama, the reason why I think it's so interesting, we got to discuss it, we got to talk about it, because she's not living up to who we thought she was. We thought Michelle Obama was so great she could be the next president of the United States. Like, it was literally, we had such a high we had such a high view of who Michelle Obama was until she got on a podcast. It just showed you podcasting is not for everybody. I'm not saying take away her mic. She could have the mic. But usually people erode the mystery we had of them, the high regard we had of them. It's like we had so much respect for Michelle. She seemed like she was so classy. And then when she started missing funerals and missing engagements with Barack, she wouldn't be there. He'd go to different events. She wouldn't show up. She didn't show up to the inauguration. It just seemed like she was all by herself. And it's kind of a picture and a microcosm of how black women are to successful black men. Like, a lot of people talk about, oh, black men, when you get on, you choose a white girl, right? That's like a common meme of black men, that the successful man chooses a white girl. And there's issues with white women as well, and there's just issues with women in general. But a lot of reason why that is not because of looks, it's because of culture. Black women have been told that it's okay to disrespect and rebel against your husband. In fact, not only is it okay, it's expected. I seen a clip recently of a girl on the Pop the Balloon show chastising a man, trying to humiliate a man for commenting on the fact that he did not like a girl because she had short hair. It was a black girl. Now, granted, she looked like a biracial black girl. She had like this curly hair. Her hair, like it just shrunk from like being in water, so it looked kind of curly, short, curly fro. But it was like kind of a reddish fro, and I thought it was attractive. But he said he didn't like short hair. Anyway, the black girl decided to just violate him and disrespect him. Oh, no, you know you're not supposed to talk about black girls here. You're not supposed to talk about black. You should have said nothing. You should keep it. And it's this idea that black women could tell black men what to do, but the opposite is not true. We can't tell black girls nothing. We have rules not to talk about their hair, not to talk about this, not to talk about that. Don't say nothing about them because that's a sensitive subject and we're going to upset them. And a lot of men, especially from the hood, a lot of men carry that like, oh yeah, you know better than that. You know better not to talk about a black woman's hair. And I think they feel that way because they want to go along and get along. They don't want to disrupt what's going on. They don't want to disrupt the matriarchy in the neighborhood. Because let's keep it real. In the hood, it's a matriarchy, not a patriarchy. Women run the hood. Okay, people's mamas run the hood. Okay, and that's why the hood the way it really is, because there's no fathers there. That's why the hood's really where it is. You want to know why the hood is bad? Because it's a matriarchy. It's run by women. Women run the hoods. Anyway, the rules are you can't disrespect black women by commenting on their hair, even though as black men, we don't like wigs and weaves. Like, I don't know how many times we're going to tell black women we don't like wigs, we don't like weaves. But, oh, it's disrespectful because you're making fun of our hair and you got nappy hair too. Yes, we do have nappy hair too. You're absolutely right. And that's why, and the proof that we don't mind nappy hair or 4C hair, the proof of it is that we rock our own natural hair. Black men, zero black men have false hair. Zero. And we have black men with short hair. We have black men with long hair. Zero. Max B, he permed his hair. You know what I'm saying? A$AP Rocky got the long braids. Travis Scott got the braids. You know what I'm saying? We have all these football players with the dreads. Kai Cenat got the dreads. So we got young people with dreads, old people with dreads, young people with braids, old people with braids, young people sporting, the Max B look. Snoop Dogg sporting the Max B look. Black men, we have some people with afros. Not too many afros are not as popular as they used to be, but Ludacris had afro. Black men, we sport our natural hair and we love it and we're loved for it. We want the same for our women, but they think we don't actually like it. They're trying to tell us what we like. That's how much control the matriarchy is. And I think Michelle Obama is very much like that. She believes it's her job to tell a man, especially a black man, what to do, how to think, what to say, what he cannot say, bully him around, bully him into submission. And so Michelle is actually a very regular black girl in that sense. She doesn't rock her natural hair. She's weave and wiggalicious too, right? She definitely believes that she could go against her man and no one should say nothing about it. She did an interview on NPR recently talking about, I say things and people think that, just because I'm not popping out everywhere with him, there's divorce rumors and stuff like that. No, it's divorce rumors because of your behavior, not because you ain't posting on Instagram. She's like, we're 60 years old. We ain't got to post on Instagram all the time. It ain't about your posts. It's about your comments and shit that you be saying on these podcasts, on your own podcast. Why do you have a podcast? You are the first lady and you're trying to be like us. You are the first lady. You have Secret Service protection and you want to be like everybody else. It's so fascinating to me. Even LeBron James' wife wanted to be like everybody else. Like, we worship influence. That it just shows you the community is just worshiping influencers. I don't see her running to become a doctor. I don't see her. She was a lawyer. I don't see her running to go practice law. You want to do a podcast and talk for fame and celebrity and have a voice? This is what you're doing with your voice? Why don't you work on initiatives that you really care about instead of just gossiping online? It's just shocking to me. Your husband was one of the most powerful men of the free world. And here you are, you want to be a podcaster. And on top of that, you're criticizing him. And the whole comment about her saying that she's glad she didn't have a boy. If you watch the interview, I have to watch it because it's at the very, so people are going to watch the interview. It's at the very end of her interview with Angie Martinez. The very end, like the last 40 seconds, 50 seconds, maybe the last minute or so of that entire interview. I had to I was pissed because I had to search through it and then realize at the very end, okay? And what she was talking about was how it's difficult to raise men now because all these men are toxic. We're in this toxic male environment and all these women want to raise soft men. And she felt like it would be too much of a hassle to raise a boy nowadays because it's all this toxic masculinity and, raise him to be kind and soft. It'll be hard because there'll be all these forces working against her. And I want to say this. Women, you are wrong about what you think about men. Their toxic masculinity is a farce. We actually have the opposite. We have weak men. Society's run by weak men. That's why we have all these issues, because men won't stand up and say that you are wrong. A lot of these women are wrong. Feminism is wrong. Feminism can't exist without men. Every woman's movement is protected by weak men, and that's why we have an issue. So simps are the issue, not toxic men. And unless you want to call simps toxic, I like to prefer to call them weak. They're weak, they're pathetic, and they're pushovers. And honestly, as men, the only thing we got to respect for them is that they have the same proclivity to be violent like we are. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, whether a man is weak mentally or not, spiritually or not, it doesn't take away from the fact that he might have strength. And there's a lot of weak men that are physically strong, that could be UFC fighters and stuff like that. But they're mentally weak. They're not aligned with God. So by definition, they're weak. By definition. I read something in the Bible recently. I'm going to end it with this. In 1 Corinthians, verse 125, it says, the foolishness of God is wiser than men, and the weakness of God is stronger than men. The foolishness of God is wiser than men, and the weakness of God is stronger than men. And what he's really saying is that there is nobody wiser than the man upstairs. There's nobody stronger than the man upstairs. And this is why when weak men come into our country, and I'm not calling Michelle Obama a weak man. I'm not calling her Big Mike, okay? I know a lot of people believe in that, but I'm just saying. I'm talking about the people who prop up feminism, the muscle behind feminism, right? These weak men, mentally weak, spiritually weak. What they don't understand about themselves is that they're not superior to God, yet they're trying to usurp authority over God. And they're trying to have the world believe this new neo-nonsense, right? None of it's true. And it's failing miserably as it should. And I think women like Michelle Obama is perpetrating and propagating information like this to the masses. And it needs to stop. And that's why people like me, we're doing our job by calling it out. It's bullshit. It's wrong. It needs to stop. But women are such sheep. Whatever the herd is going, they're going to follow. It doesn't matter that the herd is running towards a cliff. They're following it with speed. And before you know it, they're all going to fall from the precipice. Okay? Anyway, like the video, subscribe to the channel. Channel blowing up. I appreciate you guys. Check out some of my other videos. And I'll see y'all over there.